Have you ever shared something with family, only to regret it when it sparked drama or pressure you didn't expect? At 65 and beyond, life teaches us that not every truth needs to be spoken aloud. Sometimes, silence is the key to protecting your peace, independence, and joy. In this video, I'm sharing 5 critical things you should keep to yourself to avoid stress, maintain strong relationships, and safeguard your emotional freedom. Trust me, you'll want to hear these insights to navigate your golden years with confidence. Why watch until the end? First, you'll discover practical wisdom to shield your financial decisions from unsolicited opinions, saving you from tension with loved ones. Second, you'll learn how oversharing health concerns can unintentionally erode your autonomy, and how to prevent it. Third, we'll explore why staying quiet during family conflicts preserves your peace and keeps you out of the crossfire. Plus, I'll reveal how voicing past regrets can strain relationships and what to say instead. Finally, you'll get strategies to protect your financial privacy, ensuring your retirement is defined by freedom, not expectations. These lessons, drawn from real stories like Susan's and Robert's, are game changers for seniors who value clarity and calm. Subscribe, hit that bell, and join our community of wise, kind-hearted Americans. Let's dive in. You won't want to miss a single tip. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Financial decisions and assets. If there's one life lesson that has truly stood the test of time for me, it's this: not every truth, no matter how much we might feel the urge to share, needs to be fully exposed, especially when it comes to something as personal as your finances. As we grow older, there's an innate desire to maintain harmony and avoid causing any unnecessary tension within our families. We may find ourselves wanting to be completely transparent about everything, from how much we've saved to the plans we have for our future. We think that by laying everything out in the open, we're eliminating the chance for misunderstandings or surprises down the line. But here's the reality: sometimes, that openness can be a double-edged sword. It's not always as harmless as it seems. I've learned this through years of experience, and let me tell you, it's a painful lesson to learn. The more you reveal, the more susceptible you become to unsolicited advice, constant questioning, and subtle, yet ever-present pressure. When you open the door to your financial life, you often invite others to cross boundaries you didn't even know existed. It's an uncomfortable shift in dynamic, one that can feel like you're slowly losing control of the independence you've worked so tirelessly to build. Let me take you back to a woman I once knew, a truly remarkable woman named Susan. Susan was a 75-year-old who had lived a life of quiet elegance, marked by hard work, a simple yet satisfying existence, and an unwavering commitment to frugality. She had built a modest nest egg, not through luck or windfalls, but through decades of patience and careful planning. She had 3 grown children, each one with their perspective on life. One day, to be open, to reassure her children that everything was in order, Susan decided to share her financial plans with them. Her hope was simple: to put them at ease, to show them that she had everything figured out, and that they had nothing to worry about. But instead of the relief she expected, her family's reaction was far from comforting. It was like opening a floodgate. The questions started pouring in. Are you sure this is the right house for you? Have you thought about investing your money in other ways? Maybe you should start gifting some of your money now, rather than later. And, in an uninvited move, her daughter even brought a financial advisor to their next family gathering to look over her plans. What was meant to be an act of transparency quickly became an overwhelming flood of opinions, all seemingly well-meaning but invasive nonetheless. Susan found herself feeling as though her personal choices were no longer her own. The very openness she had hoped would bring peace turned into a source of constant input and subtle judgment. She went from being a woman who had always felt secure and self-assured in her decisions to someone who felt constantly watched and evaluated. It's heartbreaking to witness this shift. It's the danger that comes with sharing too much without setting clear boundaries. Suddenly, the independence you've carefully crafted over a lifetime begins to erode, and what was once your private domain becomes public territory for scrutiny. Even when family members mean no harm, they can overstep, thinking they're offering support when, in fact, they're unknowingly encroaching on your peace of mind. And it's not just well-meaning advice that can be troubling. I've seen it in families before. The distant cousin who never called suddenly begins to check in, not to reconnect, but to ask about your will or your savings. Or a grandchild, who up until now seemed indifferent, suddenly asks questions about your financial future. It's a subtle shift, but it can feel like a punch to the gut, like your private world is being invaded. It's not that people are malicious, it's just human nature. But it can feel deeply unsettling, even when there's no ill intent behind it. And that's why, over the years, I've come to tell my friends, my peers, and anyone who will listen, it's okay to keep some things to yourself. You don't need to share every detail of your financial life just to make others feel comfortable or to prove that you've got everything under control. You are not being secretive by keeping some things private. You are being wise. You have every right to protect your peace of mind, and that includes protecting the details of your finances. You don't owe anyone a full accounting of your bank statements. You don't have to explain every little purchase you make, whether it's a vacation, a new piece of furniture, or even something as personal as upgrading your hearing aids. You've worked hard for these things, and it's your right to make decisions about them without being questioned or judged. Now, I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't plan. Far from it. It's essential to have things in place, to ensure your estate is in order. It's crucial to have a trusted power of attorney, a well-thought-out will, and a designated person who will take care of matters when the time comes. But here's the catch. Sharing every detail of your plans before they're needed is what shifts the dynamic from one of mutual trust to one where your family feels entitled to manage your life for you. Once that door is opened, it's incredibly hard to close. If you've ever felt the suffocating weight of others watching your wallet more closely than they watch over your heart, then you know exactly what I mean. If you've ever started second-guessing a purchase because you were worried about how others might react, then it's time to hit pause. That's not the way you should be living your golden years. You've earned the right to make your own choices without needing to justify them. You've worked so hard, for so many years, to build your financial future. You are the one who knows what brings you joy, comfort, and security. And no one else is more qualified to make those decisions than you. So, let me leave you with this. Privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is protection. It's the protection of your peace, your sense of autonomy, and your hard-earned independence. Keep the conversations about money thoughtful, keep them measured, and only invite people into that space when you're sure they'll respect your boundaries. You've worked too hard, for too long, to let anyone take away the independence you've earned. Your right to make decisions for yourself, without explanation or defense, is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in these later years. Number 2, health concerns that are not urgent. As we age, it's only natural for our bodies to go through their ebbs and flows. A little joint pain here, a sleepless night there, or feeling more drained after a long day, these are all part of the journey of aging. It's the reality of getting older, and there's no shame in it. But here's the thing, even though we experience these minor health issues, it's deeply human to want to share them with our loved ones, our children, grandchildren, or close friends. We want to feel cared for, to know that the people around us truly care about our well-being. After all, they love us, and we love them in return. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But here's where things get tricky. We all want to stay connected to our families, to be seen, and to show that we trust them with our concerns. However, There's a delicate balance between informing them of every little ache and discomfort and overwhelming them with every minor health fluctuation. Too much sharing, especially about things that aren't urgent, can unintentionally burden those who care about us. It can trigger unnecessary worry or stress, even when we don't want it to. And the unintended consequence? Sometimes it shifts the way people see us, perhaps as weaker, more fragile, or more dependent than we truly are. I remember a dear friend of mine, Robert, who is 72 years old. He's a vibrant, active man who's always been full of life. One day, after spending hours gardening, he casually mentioned to his daughter that his shoulders were sore. Just a normal, passing comment, something anyone might say after a long day of work. The next thing he knew, his daughter had scheduled a doctor's appointment for him, was calling twice a day to check on him, and even suggested hiring someone to help around the house. Robert wasn't upset by this. He knew it all came from a place of love, but there was this nagging feeling that suddenly everyone around him started treating him like he was fragile, like he couldn't take care of himself anymore. The problem with frequently sharing minor health concerns, even in a light-hearted way, is that it can slowly change how others perceive us. It can lead them to think we're declining faster than we truly are. And once that perception sets in, it affects the way people interact with us. They may hesitate to invite us to activities, thinking we're not up for it. They may assume we need more help than we do. And that loss of independence, that feeling of being viewed as fragile, whether intentional or not, can be deeply frustrating and disheartening. Now, this doesn't mean we should hide serious health issues from our families. If something is genuinely affecting our daily life, if we need help or support, it's absolutely important to let our loved ones know. But the little things, the manageable discomforts and minor aches, it's okay to keep those to yourself. That's not hiding or denying the truth. It's simply about self-respect. It's about maintaining control over how we live and how we share our lives with others. We've lived in our bodies for decades, and we've become experts in knowing what's truly serious and what's just a passing discomfort. We deserve the dignity of handling those smaller things in our way, without fear of being micromanaged or treated like we're losing our grip. Growing older doesn't mean surrendering control. It's the time in our lives when we should feel most empowered, most confident in ourselves and in our instincts. At the end of the day, peace in our later years doesn't come from being constantly worried about. It comes from knowing ourselves, knowing when to take action and when to rest. It's about choosing what to share and what to keep private, all while living with quiet confidence in our wisdom. After all, we are the ones who have lived through so much, and it's that wisdom and self-assurance that will carry us through this beautiful phase of life. Number 3, your true thoughts on family conflicts. As we get older, we start to see life from a different perspective. One that's shaped by experience, patience, and often the quiet wisdom that comes with age. And with that, we begin to realize a powerful, simple truth. Sometimes, the more silent you are, the more peace you find, especially when it comes to family matters. It's a lesson that many of us learn only after years of witnessing, feeling, and even being dragged into the chaos of family conflict. I've seen my fair share of family arguments, more than I care to admit. The ugly spats over inheritance that tear siblings apart, the simmering grudges that rise to the surface when old wounds are reopened, the judgment that flows freely when sons and daughters-in-law are scrutinized for the way they parent or handle their finances. Every time, without fail, my first instinct was always the same. I needed to step in. I would offer advice, try to mediate, suggest a solution, anything to fix the tension. After all, family is supposed to stick together, right? So I thought, why not try to smooth things over with a few well-chosen words? But over time, something inside me shifted. I began to realize something essential, something that no amount of good intentions or heartfelt advice could change. Sometimes, even the most well-meaning words can only add fuel to a fire that's already smoldering beneath the surface. I remember a woman from our reading club, Margaret. She was one of the sweetest, most caring souls you could ever meet, and she had a daughter who was, well, a little too sensitive at times. One day, Margaret gently suggested that her grandson start picking up his toys. Just a simple comment, something any loving grandmother might say. But within days, her daughter grew cold, stopped calling, stopped inviting her over. The distance that grew between them never truly healed. And that hurt more than anything else. As we grow older, we realize that we often become innocent casualties in family battles we never asked to be part of. You try to step in, offer a solution, mediate a dispute between two children, and suddenly you're accused of taking sides. You share a quiet opinion about your son-in-law, and your daughter stops confiding in you. You try to help two relatives find common ground, and before you know it, you're blamed when it falls apart. And no matter how carefully you choose your words, how soft or honest they are, the truth is, if the person on the other end is hurt or defensive, your words can be twisted, misunderstood, and turned against you. The hardest part? When the dust finally settles and the argument is over, people often remember what you said more than the original cause of the conflict. That simple comment, that little piece of advice, stays lodged in their hearts, sometimes for years. And it's carried forward, fueling resentment, long after the real issue has been forgotten. Here's the truth I've learned. Silence is not a sign of weakness. It's wisdom. At this stage in life, we no longer need to fix everything or take sides in every battle. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back, take a deep breath, and trust that the people you love will figure it out on their own. You don't need to add your voice to the chaos. You can simply say, "I'm sure you'll find a way to work it out," and offer a smile, not out of indifference, but out of respect for their journey. We've all been through enough to know that speaking from the heart doesn't always lead to understanding. Sometimes holding your tongue is the most loving choice you can make, because it allows others the space to learn, grow, and make their own mistakes. You can love your family deeply without needing to fix them. You can offer them your support without taking on their battles. Let your children find their way. Let your family evolve. Be the calm in the storm, not because you're avoiding conflict, but because you've finally outgrown the need to get involved in every fire. At this point in our lives, we realize that sometimes the best way to love is to let go. To let people figure things out on their own. And perhaps in doing so, we discover that the greatest gift we can offer is the wisdom to know when to stay silent. Number 4, your regrets about the past. Regrets about the past. It's something we all carry with us as we age, and yet, it's one of those things that no one ever really teaches us how to handle. We all wish we could turn back time, change certain moments, and make different decisions. It's just part of being human. I wish I had slowed down, some say. Others might think, I wish I'd followed my dreams instead of letting them slip away. Some regret not spending more time with family, or perhaps not cherishing the simple moments of joy that pass by too quickly. These thoughts, these regrets, are deeply woven into the fabric of who we are. But here's the thing, those regrets don't always need to be voiced out loud, especially not to the people you love most. I remember a woman named Patricia, a kind soul who spent her whole life taking care of others. She was a mother, a caregiver, a woman who gave and gave, but somewhere in the quiet corners of her heart, there was this unspoken regret. One day, as she was talking to her daughter, she casually mentioned, "I wish I hadn't given up my career." It was just a fleeting thought, a moment of reflection, one that didn't carry any ill intention. But her daughter heard something entirely different. What she heard was, "You weren't worth the sacrifice." And just like that, one innocent sentence, spoken in passing, built an invisible wall between them. It's incredible how something so small can cause so much pain. That's the complexity of regret. What seems like a simple reflection to us can sometimes feel like a wound to those we care about. When you say, "I wish I'd lived somewhere else," it can make your children feel like they weren't enough to make you happy. Or when you talk about an old friend or a long-lost opportunity, your family might wonder if they were never really your first choice. It's like carrying a heavy weight, Every time you dwell on what could have been, it subtly suggests that something in your past wasn't worth embracing, that your life as it is may not have been enough. The more you revisit these regrets, the more you might unknowingly push away the people you love. It doesn't mean you're not trying to heal or that you're ungrateful. But when we dwell too long on the past, we can unintentionally start to seem like we're stuck there, stuck in a time that no longer exists. That's when the emotional distance starts to creep in. People may begin to see you as someone who is forever looking backward, and that shifts how they treat you. It becomes less about connection and more about hesitation, caution, and sometimes even avoidance. Now, I'm not saying you should bury every regret or pretend like they don't matter. Our memories, our reflections, they hold lessons, and those lessons are valuable. They shape us, guide us, and help us grow. But sometimes, the most important lessons are the ones we choose to hold inside, not because we're hiding something, but because we're making a conscious decision to protect the peace in our relationships. Think about it. Instead of saying, "I wish I had," try saying, "I've learned a lot from that journey." There's a difference, isn't there? One is weighed down with sorrow, while the other holds gratitude. It acknowledges the struggle, honors the growth, but doesn't burden anyone else with the weight of regret. You don't have to bottle everything up or ignore your feelings. Feel what you feel. But you do have the right to choose when to share and when to keep something to yourself. After all, the peace we seek in our later years doesn't come from trying to rewrite the past or regret what we cannot change. It comes from showing ourselves the grace to accept it, to live with it, and to find peace within it. And sometimes, that peace is the greatest gift we can offer, not just to ourselves, but to those we love. Number 5. The full extent of your financial situation. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As we age, life imparts valuable lessons, yet there's one truth that, looking back, I wish someone had shared with me sooner. You don't owe anyone everything, especially when it comes to your financial life. I know that now, but it took me a long time to fully understand how crucial it is to keep certain things close to your heart. Your money, for instance. Money is often seen as a blessing, but in relationships, it can be a dangerous double-edged sword. Family dynamics are especially sensitive when it comes to finances. On one hand, money can inspire gratitude. Helping your loved ones when they're in need feels good, and you might even feel like you're making a difference. But on the other hand, it can plant the seeds of jealousy, entitlement, and even resentment. The more you share, the more vulnerable you become to unwanted expectations and pressures. I've learned this the hard way. When people know you have enough, everything changes. Whether they realize it or not, they begin to view you through a different lens. It's subtle at first. Questions like, "Why don't you downsize?" or "Are you leaving something behind for the grandkids?" may seem like innocent inquiries, even acts of concern, but they often cross an invisible line. These questions aren't just about your well-being. They're a form of expectation. The truth is, once you've shared your financial status, there's no taking it back. Worse yet, when you admit you're struggling, the dynamics shift again. Loved ones may start to overstep, offering advice, second-guessing your decisions, and stepping into your personal space under the guise of concern. What starts as a well-meaning offer to help can slowly erode your sense of independence, which, I believe, is the truest form of freedom in old age. True freedom isn't just about having enough money. It's about the autonomy to decide what you do with it. I've come to realize that when you overshare the details of your savings or financial plans, you're not just revealing numbers on a piece of paper. You're opening the door to unsolicited opinions, judgments, and a sense of pressure that doesn't belong in your life. I used to think that full transparency would clear the air and avoid misunderstandings, but I've learned that misunderstandings can be resolved. However, entitlement, once it takes root, is almost impossible to undo. It's a quiet yet powerful force, one that shifts the focus from who you are to what you have. That subtle shift can alter relationships forever. It's not about keeping secrets, though. Being wise enough to have a financial advisor or an executor is essential. But beyond what's legally necessary, there's a delicate art to being selective with what you share. Privacy is not the same as secrecy. It's about safeguarding your peace of mind and preserving the life you've worked so hard to build. Real respect doesn't come from knowing the size of your bank account. It comes from knowing that no one else has control over it. I'll be honest, if someone only shows interest in your life when money is mentioned, it's worth questioning their true intentions. Are they interested in your heart or your wallet? That's a question only you can answer, but it's important to protect your financial privacy as part of protecting your dignity. In the end, a joyful retirement isn't measured by how much you can give to others, but by how freely you can live on your terms, without fear of judgment or expectation. So, as we wrap up, take a moment to reflect. You've spent so much of your life caring for others. Now, it's time to care for yourself. Let that freedom be the reward for the years of selflessness, hard work, and love you've poured into your family. This is your time, and you deserve to live it as you choose. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Protecting your financial privacy isn't about mistrust. It's about taking control of your peace, dignity, and the life you've built. I hope this video has given you new insights into the importance of safeguarding your financial decisions and setting healthy boundaries within your family. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned today that you'll bring into your life moving forward? Is it about protecting your independence? Setting boundaries? Or maybe it's about the power of financial privacy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to reading them. If you like this video, please leave your comment, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos that matter to you. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's your time to live freely and on your terms.